What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to Tea with Tallulah. Now, normally, this is Thursday Tea with Tallulah. We were going to do it yesterday, but I had to address a fairly serious situation, and we decided to move it back to today. Next week and the week after, we're going to be moving this to Tuesday. So it'll be Tuesday Tea with Tallulah. I don't know. See that 3 times fast. At any rate, my co-host is, of course, the lovely and talented Tallulah Johnson of The Feminine Truth. How are you doing this morning or this afternoon?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing very good. We were just having an off-air conversation about the CME, which I'll be announcing the dates of the CME while I'm in Miami on Fresh and Fit. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for those details as well. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. I was like, dude, are we on? Okay. The live stream is good to go. Your color looks good, Tallulah. I think I've gotten the filter right. Speaking of which, we were talking about, so you and I were having a conversation, about my relationship with Kevin Samuels. And, you know, the interesting thing is most people know that Kevin and I have been good friends for many, many years. Matter of fact, we've been friends for such a long time. I remember when I had more subs than him. Most of the 5.5, 6 years that we've known each other, I've always had more subscribers than him, and he just blew right past me. So now he is into the stratosphere. Well, Tallulah doesn't really follow Kevin that much, you know. Well, let me ask you this: you don't follow him, and that's fine. What do you know about him, if anything? What are some of the things that you've heard?
The only thing I know is that he does the calls with women that
Okay.
call in the show. That's all I know, and I think he does something with dress and lifestyle. But
Yes.
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, he's the best dressed man on YouTube for sure. I still have to figure out what my style personality is. Every time I call Kevin, hey Kevin, I think my style personality is the Miami Vice style personality. He's like, Donovan, that's not a style personality. I'm like, shit, okay, back to the drawing board. But Kevin is very, very well plugged in. He hooked me up with his connect at Tom Ford. That's how I got my jacket. That's how Devin got her heels and all that good stuff. So Kevin is very, very well connected. So what we are going to do, Tallulah, is we are going to watch and respond to a video call with a woman. This was a few days ago. Now, Janelle and I, we broke down the first 7-8 minutes of the video, and we managed to talk for a good maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So we'll probably break down the next, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes of this video. If you have anything to add, if you hear something that sets off your alarm bells, just tell me to pause it. I'll pause it, and we'll talk about it. Fair enough?
Mm-hmm, fair enough.
All right, here we go. Let's do it.
Women,
So that clock in the background, that is her biological clock ticking for effect.
clock makes decisions for you guys.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
And at 30, so like let's say you were emotionally mature and ready.
Mm-hmm.
And you met a guy who wants to be married, marriage-minded, your kind of guy. How long do you think from meeting him on day one, do you think it should take before you're engaged?
So what he just asked her, and not to say that you didn't hear this, but I just want to make sure that I'm making clear what Kevin is asking. So what Kevin is asking this woman, he said, so you meet a man who's marriage-minded. How long should you date before you guys actually start thinking about marriage? Listen to what she says, and I want to get your opinion of this, Tallulah. Oops.
I would say a year.
And how long for being engaged before you marry?
I wouldn't want it to be that long. So maybe like 2 years.
2 years of engagement? Is that what I'm hearing? 2 years of engagement?
Yeah, actually, yeah, 2 years.
So
2 years of engagement. So Tallulah, so from the time she meets Mr. Right to the time she ties the knot. She wants there to be 2 years. Now, there are some people, men and or women, who endorse this line of thinking in terms of, listen, man, you have to be with a woman through all 4 seasons and this and that. I'm an advocate of this as well, but I'm not an advocate. I'm not an advocate for marriage in the Western world. Marriage is an excellent institution, but the way it's set up now is not beneficial for men. But in terms of, being in a cohabitating relationship, 2 years is an awful long time from the first meetup to tying the knot. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can just see 2 things going on with her. She's got no concept of time, has she? She's got no concept of the fact that he had the clock ticking, that her biological clock is actually ticking, and
Yes.
she hasn't really got a choice. With
No
these
reaction. Yeah, she's like, okay, so it's ticking.
Yeah, and in a few years' time, she's not going to look like how she does now, and
Nope.
she's not going to be, if she wants children, she definitely won't be as fertile as perhaps she is now.
Right.
And then it just seems like she's kind of like, oh yeah, like always as if she's got another option.
There you go. Not only another option, but more time. By the way, this woman is 28 years old. So she's not
Okay.
old, but time is running out.
No, she 28 it's not old, but your time has basically run out with
Yes.
like all those things, unless you get very lucky with the type of guy that she's obviously waiting for. Her time's gone.
No, I totally agree. And it's worth noting that most people, Tallulah, men and women, they want to be in relationships with men and women. They want children, they want a family. But every once in a while, you do have an outlier. I'm an outlier. I don't want kids. Devin doesn't want kids. She can't have kids. And so that's part of what makes our relationship work, is because we both have the same goals. However, that doesn't mean the same principles don't apply in terms of mating strategy and getting together. So I want people, because I know that there are going to be people in my comments, well, Donovan, you don't endorse marriage and you and Devin are not going to have kids and this and that, but you still talk about these things. Well, what this comes down to, and we're all the same fundamentally, but we all have different goals in terms of where we are and what we want.
Yeah, and her goals are going to be when it's too late, when she actually wakes up.
There you go.
That she's in her 30s. It's so
Yep.
different when you're 28 to when you're in your 30s as a woman, and she can't see it. And she's kind of come on like Kevin Samuels, from what I'm hearing and from what I can see of this. He's a big player, right? And
Yes.
he's got a lot of people viewing this channel. She hasn't even, look at her hair.
Yeah, man. And here's the thing, Tallulah. Well, she's actually not that bad looking. Like, she's probably, she's average. She's, I don't know what her body looks like, but she's not a bad looking girl.
No, I would say, I mean, just from her face and the fact that she's probably only got a bit of foundation on or no makeup at all.
Right.
She's doing pretty well. I definitely say she's like at least 7.
Okay. All right. And if her body's on point, then that really increases her sexual market value.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Very good. Let's continue.
A year
Oops.
before you engage, 2 years engaged.
Mhm.
Buy a dog, die alone.
Oh, boy.
That's 3 years, man.
Oh no, I mean like 2 years. Like the first year would be
Yes.
engaged for another year to plan, everything.
Okay, that's why I asked
Yeah.
twice. But either way,
Okay.
that's still 2 years.
Yep.
What do you need to be with somebody a year and engaged for a year? Are you going to be paying for your own way? Are you going to do it just?
Now, before we get into this, so what Kevin is asking her, hey, why not just go ahead and get married, right? If you're ready to get married, why not just go ahead and get married? I could be wrong about this, Tallulah, but I think the reason why women like her want to be engaged for such a long time, I think they want to make sure they have the best option, number one. Number two, if they're nefarious, they'll say, well, listen, I can be engaged for a year, have my fun on the side, get it out of my system, and then get married. What are your thoughts on that? Is that accurate, inaccurate, or am I missing something?
100% accurate.
Okay.
And also that she's 28, so this whole like fun thing, is that like what? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're 28. That should be like completely over now.
Yeah.
Or like it just, yeah, it's crazy that at 28 that she's still sort of, oh yeah, like 2 years. And it's also that thing as well that we've discussed before about maybe, you know, these of you know, the sort of fear of being on her own, that she would just be with someone for a couple of years and sort of just, oh, is this the best that I can get? Well,
Right.
it probably is, because by that time when she's saying she wants to meet someone, she's going to be 30.
There you go. There you
You
go.
she hasn't got the pick
No.
of the top 20% of men at 30. No way.
This
No
woman,
way.
This woman is acting like she's 18 years old. Like, look how nonchalant. Yeah, she's, you know, she's kind of relaxed. Yeah, a couple years for an engagement. There's no sense of urgency.
No, there's none.
Oh, yeah.
There's none. I can't see any sense of urgency there. So it's almost like, I kind of was going to ask, do you reckon she's like sort of ringing in just as a joke, right? Because she just doesn't seem
You would think.
bothered.
Tallulah, it's so funny that you say that. You would think, because even people with common sense in terms of the way relationships work for both men and women, common sense, you would think that that a lot of the, and they say this about the Fresh and Fit podcast all the time, she's got to be a plant. She's there to troll. This is the way they really think, and it is so outlandish that even civilians who are not a part of the red pill space are like, is she joking? She's 28 years old. She wants to be engaged for 2 years. She's got to be like, is she trolling Kevin? Is she just on here just to be seen? Tallulah, these women really do think that way.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
That is just crazy.
All right, let's continue.
Rest of the piece of it, you're gonna have a wedding.
Uh-oh.
I definitely want a wedding, for sure.
Your mother and father got the money to pay for that?
My dad, he's an engineer.
Your mother and father have the money to pay for that?
Well, my mom's not around, but
So one thing that Janelle and I discovered yesterday is that this woman has a very hard time with answering questions directly. Kevin asked her, does your mother and father have the money to pay for the wedding? This is a yes or no question. She said, well, my father's an engineer. Then he asked her again, do your mother and father have the money to pay for the wedding? Her answer, well, my mother's not here. This is a yes or no question, Tallulah. Why do women like this have such a hard time answering direct, closed-ended questions? Or is this an evasive technique? I'll never understand this about this woman. This is crazy.
Yeah, I just think that she hasn't got any concept of a future or what's going on around her at all. She, you know, if this girl wants kids, those poor children,
Oh, God.
she's just going to have no concept of, you know, how to care for them, anything. She can't even answer a question.
Jesus, man. I think a lot of it has to do with self-delusion and evasiveness, because again, this is Kevin Samuels. This is going to be seen hundreds of thousands of times over the next couple of weeks. And I think a lot of these girls, when they come on, they try to be evasive. I don't want to call it coy, but they don't give direct answers because they don't want to look bad.
Right.
All right, let's continue.
Father's,
okay.
you're your only child?
No, I have two younger brothers.
So your father's gonna
Okay, see, there we go. Are you an only child? No, I have two younger brothers. So she'll answer the questions directly that she wants to answer. So it's not like she's incapable of it. She only answers questions directly that don't make her look bad or delusional. That's what it is.
pay for your wedding?
I've never talked to him about that, actually.
So the answer is
No.
If I asked him, he
so if your
would.
father doesn't pay for it, who's gonna pay for it?
Uh-huh.
See, these are grown-up questions.
Yeah.
See, Tallulah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
This woman
She
has
doesn't-
no concept of time or reality. Like, she knows what she wants. Yeah, I want a wedding and this and that. But when Kevin quizzes her on, I guess, even the most fundamental details, okay, who's going to pay for it? If it's not going to be your mom or dad, then who's going to pay for it? She's like, like, why do women have these grandiose plans but don't think about the how? They think about the what, they just have no idea how it works.
It's just crazy. I mean, or she's thinking, oh well, I'll get my partner to pay for it. That's what she might be
Right.
thinking. And she knows he's going to come back and say, like, what? And he's going to question that more.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Ay, 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 ay.
I just can't understand how they have there's no plan. Like, she's
No.
28, like go back, many, many years ago.
Right.
She's been way, way past it. She'd have like her kids and her husband and everything done now. It's just really, it's quite immature.
Yes, it is. It is. And Kevin earlier in the video said, listen, man, back in the day when you were 28 years old, you were already married for, 8, 9 years and probably had 3 or 4 kids at this point in time. And she looked at him like he had 3 heads. She had no idea what he was talking about. She's like, well, wait a minute. Married for 9 years at 28 years old. What the hell are we doing? But women want to put off marriage so that they can continue having fun. That's really what this is. That's really what it is.
I know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what fun there's going to be to have though.
It's
She's approaching 30.
yes, right. And as obvious as it is see, this is the problem with modern women, and I think you talked about this earlier, is that modern women they have no concept of time. They think they have all the time in the world until of course they don't. And so when you ask certain women about marriage and what their timeline and all this other kind of stuff is, they don't have a concept of time. So they think it's just going to be like this forever. Oh, I'll settle down at 30 and this and that. But they don't really, I can't say that they have no concept of time, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't act like they had all the time in the world. But to me, it's selective. It's almost like a selective hearing thing. And then these same women on the 10 o'clock show with Kevin Samuels, I'm 44 years old. Why don't I have a man? It's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely selective hearing. I
Yes.
mean, with Devon, do people still say to Devon, oh, you can still like have kids and that's fine? Do people say that to her?
No,
Still?
no, not as far. No, not as far as I know. Yeah, I mean, there are no outside influences that negatively affect our relationship. And she's 45 years old. Could she get pregnant? I'm sure she probably could, but the kid would have all kinds of problems because she would be way past geriatric pregnancy. So she is well aware of, and this is what Allie talks about as far as me, you, Janelle, our entire crew, is that it's almost like we keep each other grounded and accountable. You know what I mean? Allie's only 26. She is right there in the midst of her prime fertile years. But by the same token, Devon is never going to have children. She's just not. And she's okay with that. Now, does she like that? I don't know. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But she's not delusional, because I do a very good job of keeping her grounded.
Yeah, I mean, so many people say to me, and as you know, I'm in my late 30s.
Yeah.
Oh, you can still have a couple of kids. You can still have 2 or 3, and I'm thinking, like,
What
my
are you
gosh,
talking
like,
about?
just
2 or
crazy.
3? Oh my God.
Going into my 40s, having kids, like, it's just, I don't know whether that's possible or not, but I think it's just, I wouldn't want that for a child. I wouldn't want that.
No, like, dude, like, I've got, like, it takes me about 5 minutes to get my body loose enough for the day here at 44 years old. I want to be able to have the energy to play with my kids. It's just, that's the way I see it. We got a couple of comments here. JBlaze11 says a $20,000 wedding could have been a down payment on a house. There's a song, Tallulah. I'm not sure if you've heard about it. It's called "I Don't Want to Get Married, I Just Want a Wedding." Women want the wedding, but they don't want to be married. They want to get married, but they don't want to be wives. Weddings these days, I don't know. How are weddings in the UK? Because here in the United States, it's literally just a big celebration of the woman. It's her day and this and that and a third. And it's all sorts of extravagance just for the purpose of her having all that attention. Is it the same in the UK, or is it a little different?
It's exactly the same here. People get like married, girls get married for this day. I've seen it happen over and over again with people that I know as well. Is they get married and it's so fixated on everything has to be perfect. And there's no mention of, how happy they are. They're marrying the man of their dreams, he's not even mentioned throughout the wedding. He just has to go along with what she wants.
He's almost like a prop.
Yeah, it really, really is. And it's crazy. If you want to marry someone, it should just be about you guys,
That's
not
right.
about some massive day with thousands of people and a dress.
No,
It's just,
I agree. I agree totally. Don't get me wrong. Getting married is a special day, but Tallulah, I think today modern women, they put so much more emphasis on the actual wedding. But then when everything is over, they're like, "Oh shit, I no longer have the attention. Now we
yeah.
live together. Now the mortgage has to be paid." So this is when they're almost like getting the 7-year itch 7 days into the wedding after all of the attention is gone. It really is a shame.
Yeah, and what I notice as well is like whenever I ask people, oh, so have things changed since you got married? There is that nice element of no, nothing's changed, it's still the same, but actually things should be changing if people
Yes.
are getting married. If they're getting married, especially in their 20s and they're quite young, okay, right. So how are we going to establish the home? How are we going to establish our roles? How are we going to establish how things move on around now that we're in the next stage of our life? And
Yes.
some people, oh, it's just the same, and it's like, oh gosh. And I just see so many people that get married unhappy.
Yep.
And I don't know about you and Dev's friends, but a lot of my friends, it's now like people are getting divorces.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Listen. We don't know. There's one married couple that we know. Unfortunately, that married couple, the wife of the married couple used to be Dev's friend, but they're not. I mean, I don't know. They don't hate each other, but she didn't approve of our relationship. Quick public service announcement. So Jay Sebastian says, I joined the family 2 weeks ago, 3 days after I was unsubscribed from the channel. Great job, YouTube. Yeah, for whatever reason, YouTube is unsubscribing people from my channel. It happens. So just make sure, guys, every 15 to 20 days, just make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you stay subscribed. Let's continue.
I mean, I guess I want to get.
I guess I
would have to. I guess. My husband or his family.
There we
That's not
go.
his responsibility.
There it is. There it is. See that?
It's not his responsibility.
Yeah.
You're a modern woman. You're not a wife.
Oh!
Yeah,
Man.
you make decisions based in fear, scarcity, and lack. I mean, come on. If I met a perfect guy, the right guy, it's going to at least be 2 years before I'm married.
Jesus.
Because I want who to see you get married? Your clients?
By the way,
No.
Tallulah, so she went to school for psychology, and for whatever reason she didn't finish, but now she's a barber. She's a stylist. She is a stylist for men's hair. And the reason why her last relationship ended, according to her, is because he was intimidated by her job. Intimidated, right. So basically, so essentially what was happening is her conduct around her male clients was unbecoming of a woman in a long-term monogamous relationship. That's just all there is to it. I think that's obvious. Okay, just wanted to make sure I get that baseline knowledge out there to you.
Who? Your mom ain't going to be around. Who? Your family?
No, it's for me.
It's for your ego.
Oh!
Do you make
Why do you
the kind of money
say
make for a
that?
wedding?
For your ego.
Do you make enough money to afford the kind of wedding you want?
Hell no.
No, definitely not.
Then what the French toast are you talking about? See, that's what I wanted to show you guys. This is not a black woman thing. This is a modern woman.
Bingo. He said, this is not a black woman thing. This is a modern woman thing. Kevin Samuels and Fresh and Fit, they have their share of detractors. The main criticism of Kevin Samuels is that he only targets black women. When he talks about the problems of modern women, then it's only the black women that he talks about. Well, listen, Kevin is a black man. He's a high-value black man. His audience is going to be mostly black women. So that's just a occupational. That's just an occupational certainty. But what Kevin just said there, he's like, look, dude, this is not a black woman problem. This is a modern woman problem. Now, to juxtapose that with Fresh and Fit, the knock on Fresh and Fit is that, oh, the girls you bring on, their thoughts, they're trash. They're these Miami hoes. They are not representative of the typical women out here. This woman, Tallulah, she is the typical everyday. Like if you were to have an avatar of the way the typical American Western woman looks, she would look just like her. Maybe a little bit heavier, but this woman is from New Jersey. She's 28 years old, and she how can I put this? She's echoing the same talking points as these thoughts and OnlyFans girls on Fresh and Fit. So no, not only is this a black woman problem, this is a modern woman problem. This woman is as normal as can be. So they don't have to be these Miami thoughts to be verifying this stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. And I can see that Kevin is like, now going to try and, hold her accountable
Yes.
for what she's saying.
Absolutely.
And, it just baffles me how these girls just think they have continuous options in life, in everything. Not only in guys, but just everything. It's like, everything's going to be all good all my life. And it's just not going to work out the way that she thinks it's going to. And there's no guidance. Where is her mum telling her, actually, no, this isn't going to work? Where are my grandkids or whatever? There's just no one there to guide this girl. And it is the media again. We always talk about as the media just reinforces this again
all
and
the
again.
time.
How, it doesn't matter about your age, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what you want to do. Women should be running the world, women should be running the country. And it's just not sustainable.
No, it's not. And Kevin says this a lot. He says the economy, there are very few economies in the world that are set up for women to be single forever. The United States economy, the UAE, the European Union, it's not designed for women to be single. The economy is designed for men and women to be together. If men and women are together, you live a much better life in a capitalistic society. These women seem to think that because of what they see on television and movies and all this other kind of stuff, they can live the Sex and the City lifestyle and be forever single or forever young. But then we get these women who are depressed or on antidepressants because their life didn't turn out the way they thought it would.
Yep, exactly the same here in the UK. And yet they still don't say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, or maybe I could have done this differently. They still generally believe, no, I've got all the time in the world. And actually, I do find that the older girls get, the older women get, the worse it gets.
Oh, yes. Their delusions get worse as they get older. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But I definitely think I that must be a psychological issue to that they don't want to feel that pain, that they don't want to say, actually, this is really hard. I think that that's why they reinforce it more and more, because the older they get, the more like psycho they get with it, and the more it's like, oh no, but like this guy, he's so into me. I look the best that I look at, 48 years old. I look better than what I did at 30. And I was like, that is not possible.
No, it's not. Devin looks fantastic. She looks great. She really does. But she was more attractive at 25 than at 45. Now, at 45 years old, she's got a lot more muscle tone, which is much more attractive. She had the nice fake boobs, so her boobs are bigger. But imagine that on a 25-year-old body. This doesn't mean that I don't still find Devin to be sexually attractive. Otherwise, I would not be with her in the first place. But the fact remains, ladies, is that yes, there is a wall. There is an attraction wall. This is why you need to develop yourself outside of your looks. And Tallulah, back in the day, even great-looking girls had agency. They could cook, they could clean, they could hold a meaningful conversation. They had personality. But now in this day and age, if you're even half decent looking like this woman is, I don't know if you've noticed this, Tallulah, this woman has the personality of a tire. Like there's no personality to her. So she's above average looking, she has no personality, and her delusions are through the roof.
Yeah, and I think as well that there's no like schooling with this. Like, fair enough, there's obviously no parents or grandparents telling their kids, which I don't understand.
No.
But for example, I went to finishing school.
Yes.
And I am telling you, every girl, I wanted to send my goddaughter. She's the love of my life. I love her to pieces.
Good.
And I want to send her just because it would just be really good for her to understand this stuff. I mean, the women that were teaching us there, we had girls from all over. We had girls come from India, we had girls from Asia, England, America, Paris. And
wow.
so it was great to have all the different cultures along the table. And when there was this, I'm just going to say the story because I think it's really important.
Go ahead.
Actually,
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
was a young, beautiful, I think she was an Indian girl, and she was 19 years old, and her father had sent her. And she just said to me, you know, what do you, she was so inquisitive, you know, asking the right questions.
Right.
What would you change in your life, and what would you do the same as a woman?
Okay.
And I said, listen, I'm not really going to tell you about me, but we're in a space where I can be honest with you that for now, I think that you should be, you know, spending that time with your family until the suitor is found. Do not move out of your home.
Right.
Stay with your parents.
Yes.
Do not do no moving in with friends, and you will integrate with a partner easier if you do that. You know, and I said, you're not going to, she's like, oh yeah, but you know, you can get stuff done and things like that. And, but I understand you're saying everything my father does. And I said, you're not going to look how you do now.
No.
When you're 35, when she's 19, and she was so good with it. She just said, thank you so much. You've told me everything that my dad has been trying to tell me.
Wow.
You know, her dad is just, you know, wants the best for her, right?
Yeah.
And we were taught at finishing school, the motto was, it's all about how you make other people feel, how you put yourself second in guesting situations,
yes.
in marriages,
yes.
with your children, all of these things. And it was just such a nice, safe place to be around like-minded women. There was a girl there from Paris. She wanted to go so she could give her daughter the best upbringing. She was a new mum.
Wow.
I mean, I wish you guys were like there. Like you would have just loved it. It was amazing. And I come out of there and I see this and I just think, what is going on? Like,
yeah.
Every girl should go to finishing school.
We might actually do I think we should do a podcast on that, because finishing school is something of a foreign concept here in the States. Most people understand what it is, or they understand the concept. But if you wouldn't mind, in a later episode, I'd like you to sort of take us through finishing school. How do you get in? What kinds of things are taught there? Because I think that could be, especially in this day and age, I think there's definitely a need for finishing school here in the States for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think there was a program on the UK TV called, I think it was Ladette to Lady, and it was all these kind of boisterous northern girls that have really bad manners. Yes, there's an element of you learn the best manners there are, and all of that's there, which is good, but it's more the message of how you're making other people feel, how you take a step back, because all these modern women, it's always about them.
Me.
I'm the better one. It's not about anyone else. They have no idea how to make other people, especially their partners, feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's incredible. One thing that Rollo Tomasi talks about a lot is that modern women have a serious issue with admitting that they're doing something for the express satisfaction of their man. Why did you color your hair? Because that's what my man wanted. Why did you do this? Why do you dress like that? It's almost like it's taboo for women to actually admit that, yes, I did X, Y, Z for my man. And I guess I'll get you out of here on this. This will be our last question. Why is it that women have such a hard time admitting, because this is almost the finishing school thing, why do women have such a hard time admitting that they do something for the express satisfaction of their men? Why does there always have to be an element of, well, what's in it for me?
I actually don't know, because what's in it for them is a happy partner and a happy relationship.
Right.
Like, I don't get why these women don't want to do these things for these guys. It comes naturally.
Yes.
When, it really does. It's like a natural instinct of wanting to do things for him
Yes.
and keeping him happy. And I think women think that these guys won't leave them, which they will if
Yes,
they
they
continue
will.
to behave in this way.
Wow. Wow,
And
wow,
finishing,
wow.
we were told certain things, you know, about how if you're asked a question, and you know, it's actually to almost give a response of what is needed in that moment, not what you think.
Right.
So it's
Right.
it went as deep as that, which was good as well. It's all important stuff.
It really, really is. I think that would be a fascinating conversation, Tallulah. That would be a fascinating conversation. She is Tallulah Johnson. You can follow her on Instagram at The Feminine Truth. Please subscribe to her YouTube channel, The Feminine Truth. That is The Feminine Truth. My goal was to get her to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Now, we're still a long ways off, but hey, we've still got 5 more days here in the month of January. Let's try to get her to 1,000 subscribers. You know what? Let's have a new goal. We're going to get Tallulah to 1,000 subscribers by Valentine's Day. How about that? We're going to get Tallulah to 1,000 subscribers by Valentine's Day. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Tallulah, thank you very, very much for being flexible and patient with my ever-changing schedule. Any closing? Give your closing thoughts and tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
Absolutely.
You know, about another delusion or another delusion.
It's quite funny, isn't it?
It's not even funny anymore. It's just I don't understand it.
It's the damnedest
I wish
thing.
I could go into their brain and see what's going on. It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, no, thanks everyone that's tuned in. I really enjoy doing these streams with Donovan. He has been extremely accommodating for me, and I'm thankful, as you know. And yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel at The Feminine Truth. Please like and subscribe
Yes.
to my channel. I'm new, but I have released some recent content, which I think you'll find interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Off the air, Tallulah was telling me, she's like, man, your subscribers are so nice to me. And I had to explain to her, I said, well, the reason they're nice to you is because there's a saying that we have in the United States, real recognizes real, or game recognizes game. There is no fraud in you. There is no fake in you. And one thing about my audience that I really adore is their level of intelligence and their ability to see through the bullshit. You don't set, I'm sure that there are other female panelists where the bullshit detectors go off every now and again, and that's fine. There are none with you. You are 100% through and through the genuine article, and I think that's why they like you a lot.
Thank you. Thanks everyone that's been supporting my channel. It really means a lot. Your comments mean a lot because it gives me ideas for new content.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so the next time we're on, I think we're going to talk about finishing school because I think that would be a fantastic idea. That is going to do it for this edition of Tea with Tallulah. Later, no. Today is Wednesday. So just a quick announcement, guys. So tomorrow, a very, very busy content day. 1 o'clock, I'm on with Ali V. 3 o'clock, I'm on with Janelle. 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the return of Elite Level Game. That's right. Myself and Coach EO are returning with Elite Level Game. One of the best collaborations I've ever done. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.